Natasha walked into the tall glass building like she owned it. Her black heels clicked loudly on the clean floor. Her red lipstick was perfect, and her handbag cost more than someone's salary. She smiled, but not kindly. Her smile was cold, proud, and sharp. Everyone in the office knew Natasha. She was smart, beautiful, and one of the top employees. She always had the best clothes, the best perfume, and the best words to say in front of the boss. But behind that smile, she had one big problem. She believed she was better than everyone else, especially the ones she thought were below her. As she passed the front desk, the receptionist gave her a small smile. Natasha didn't even look. She just said, "Next time, wear lipstick. This is a corporate office, not your village." The receptionist's smile disappeared. Natasha entered the elevator. A janitor was inside, holding a mop and a bucket. He stepped back politely and nodded. She looked at him from head to toe, then made a face like something smelled bad. "Why are you even using the main elevator?" she asked loudly. "Go use the service lift. You're making it dirty." The janitor didn't reply. He just nodded again and looked down. But his eyes were calm, deep, like he knew something. Others didn't single quotes. Natasha rolled her eyes. "Useless people everywhere," she muttered. Inside the office on the 11th floor. Everything was bright and beautiful. Glass walls, big desks, and lots of light. Natasha's desk was near the manager's cabin. She had worked hard to reach here. But now she thought only one step was left, becoming the branch manager. She sat down and looked at her schedule. 3 meetings, 1 presentation, and lunch with the company's CEO. A perfect day. Her colleague Sana came over and said, "Good morning." Natasha looked at her dress and said, "That's a brave choice of color." Sana looked confused. Natasha smiled. "It doesn't suit you, but points for trying." Sana's smile faded. She walked away silently. Natasha felt pleased. She liked control. She liked when people feared her or wanted to impress her. To her, kindness was weakness. The coffee incident at 11:30. She wanted coffee. She called the office boy. He brought the cup, hands shaking. "Here's your coffee, ma'am." She took 1 sip and threw the rest in the bin. "Did you forget how I like it? 2 sugars, not 3? Are you trying to kill me with diabetes?" The office boy looked scared. "Sorry, ma'am. I'll make it again." "Forget it," she said sharply. "Just go clean something." He left in a hurry. Natasha smirked and turned back to her computer. She didn't notice the janitor standing quietly in the hallway, watching everything. He had seen how she treated people all morning, meeting with the boss after lunch. Natasha went into her boss, Mr. Ahmed's cabin. He smiled. "Natasha, great presentation last week." The client was impressed. "Of course," she said proudly. "I always deliver results." "Yes, and you're a strong candidate for the next branch manager position." Natasha sat up straighter. "I was hoping you'd say that." "But," Mr. Ahmed added, "you need to work on your team behavior." "I've had complaints." "Complaints?" she asked, surprised. Double quotes. "Yes. Some say you speak rudely to staff, even the janitors and office boys." Natasha laughed. "Sir, you know how people are. Sensitive. They can't handle honesty." Mr. Ahmed looked serious. "Honesty is good. Cruelty is not. Remember, a good leader lifts people up, not pushes them down." She nodded slowly, but inside, she was annoyed. Why should she respect people who do dirty work? They were not like her. Back at her desk that evening, as the office became quiet, Natasha stayed late to finish a report. She went to the restroom. On the way back, she saw the same janitor again, cleaning near the window. He moved slowly but carefully. His back was bent, but his hands were steady. She stopped and stared. "Why are you still here? Didn't your shift end?" He smiled. "Some work is never really finished, ma'am." His voice was calm, deep, almost wise. She frowned. "That's not smart. Working extra doesn't make you important. It just makes you desperate." He looked at her with the same calm eyes. "Sometimes, people do quiet work not for attention, but because they care." She didn't reply. His words made no sense to her. She turned and walked away. But the janitor kept cleaning like he wasn't cleaning a floor, but something bigger, like he was waiting, watching, preparing. The hidden truth as Natasha walked back to her desk, she looked at her reflection in the glass wall. She looked perfect, but something inside felt odd. She brushed it off. "I'm the future of this company," she whispered to herself. "People like him will always be under me." But she didn't know, the man she had insulted that morning, the man who mopped floors and cleaned bins, would soon sit in the chair she dreamed of. And when that day came, the world she built with pride would slowly start to fall. Everyone in the office called him Surf Janitor. No one knew his real name. No one cared to ask. He came every morning before sunrise and left after dark. Always quiet, always polite. He never raised his voice, never complained. He just cleaned the same floors where others walked without noticing him. But if someone had really looked into his eyes, they would see something strange. Pain, memory, and something powerful, hidden deep inside. A quiet life. The janitor's name was Imran. He lived in a small 1-room flat in the old part of the city. The walls were cracked. The fan made noise, but the room was clean, spotless, like the office floors he cleaned every day. In the corner of the room, a sick old woman lay on a wooden bed. Her hands were thin. Her eyes were tired. She was his mother. Imran sat beside her every night, feeding her soup, brushing her hair, and telling her stories from his day. "Did you rest today, Amma?" he asked softly. "I'm fine. Beta, did you eat?" He smiled. "After you." His mother looked into his eyes. "You don't belong in that building with a mop in your hand." Imran didn't reply. He just held her hand tightly. Books and shadows. After his mother slept, Imran opened a small wooden box. Inside were old photos, yellowed certificates, and a leather notebook. One photo showed a young Imran smiling in a business suit, standing in front of a tall office building with a big golden sign. Imran Group of Companies. Yes. Once Imran was rich. He had his own office, his own team, and people who respected him. Until everything changed. A business betrayal. A partner who stole millions. Court cases. Bank loans. His father's sudden death. It all came down at once. Imran lost everything, except his mother. Why a janitor? People wondered. Why would a smart, educated man work as a janitor? Imran had reasons no one knew. He didn't want to restart his life with pride and noise. He wanted peace. Quiet, to rebuild. Not for the world but for his soul. So he chose the lowest job in the building. He once owned shares in Aptest. A lesson, a plan, observation and patience as a janitor. Imran saw things others missed. He saw who was kind when no one was watching. He saw who smiled only at the boss, and who smiled at the cleaner too. He saw Natasha how she humiliated people, insulted waiters, and walked like a queen. But he didn't hate her. He just watched, learned, waited. A late-night surprise. One night after work, Imran left through the back gate. A black luxury car stopped near him. The driver stepped out and said, "Sir, your car is ready." Imran looked around. No one was watching. Or, so he thought. But far away, in her own car, Natasha sat with wide eyes. "Why is the janitor being called, sir? Why does he have a driver?" She followed the car quietly. A hidden life. The car drove to a big office in another part of the city. A guard opened the gate quickly. The board outside said, "ZK Holdings private meeting in progress." Imran stepped out and walked into the building. Two men in suits greeted him with respect. Inside, the meeting room lights were on. Charts, laptops, coffee. One man said, "Sir, investors are waiting for your final decision." Imran nodded. "Give me 3 days. I'll finalize everything." They all stood when he left the room. Imran walked out calmly, like it was nothing. Like being a leader was normal for him, because once, it was Natasha's shock in her car. Natasha sat frozen. "That can't be," she whispered. "He's just a janitor." But deep inside, something shifted. Doubt, fear, confusion. The man she had mocked, the man she had insulted was not what he seemed, and soon, she would learn that, the hard way. The next morning, Natasha entered the office like always, confident, proud, and dressed perfectly. But something was different today. Her smile was fake. Her thoughts were full of questions. She kept remembering the night before. The janitor, the black car, the office. The way people called him sir. Who is he? She whispered to herself, pretending like nothing happened. She tried to ignore it. TCH, maybe he just works part-time for someone rich. Maybe he just cleaned that other office too. But the truth didn't leave her mind. There was something in the way he walked into that building, something in how the guards stood up for him. He didn't look like a worker. He looked like a boss. And worst of all, she had insulted him. Many times. Still the janitor. Later that day, she saw him again. Imran, the janitor, sweeping the front lobby like nothing had changed. She walked up to him slowly. For the first time, she looked closely. His uniform was old but clean. His back was straight, his eyes calm. He saw her and gave a small respectful nod. "Good morning, ma'am." Natasha stared. Still cleaning floors. Imran smiled gently. "Still walking on them." She blinked. Was that a joke? He turned back to his work. Calm, quiet, like always. But something inside Natasha burned. She hated not knowing. Trying to find the truths. After lunch, Natasha called her assistant. "Do we know anything about the janitor? Name, background? Who hired him?" The assistant looked confused. He joined 6 months ago. No one knows much? Just a quiet guy. Never causes trouble." Natasha narrowed her eyes. Find out more. But no one could. It was like he didn't exist before this job. No LinkedIn, no social media, no company record. Nothing. And that made it even scarier. The boss's office, a mystery. Meeting at 6 p.m. Most employees had gone home. Natasha stayed late. As she walked to the elevator, she saw something that made her stop. The company director, Mr. Hassan, was coming out of his office and Imran was walking beside him, talking like friends. Mr. Hassan was laughing. "Imran, bye. You haven't changed." "Still quiet? Still sharp?" Imran replied. "Some things don't need noise." They shook hands. Then Mr. Hassan said something that made Natasha's heart stop. "See you at the board meeting next week." Board meeting? What board? Why was a janitor being invited? Mr. Hassan left. Imran turned and saw Natasha standing there. Their eyes met for the first time. She looked nervous. and for the first time, he didn't look small. He just walked past her and said, "Good night, ma'am." But to Natasha, it didn't feel like a janitor talking to her. It felt like a warning. Whispers in the hall, though. Next day, the office was buzzing with quiet whispers. I saw the janitor talking to the director. I think he's related to someone powerful. Maybe he's spying for the top boss. Natasha listened silently. She hated rumors, especially ones she couldn't control. She walked into her cabin and shut the door. Her mind spinning, she sat alone, remembering everything. The way he looked at her, the luxury car, the private building, the meeting with Mr. Hassan, and now, she was scared, not of him, but of what would happen if he had power. Would he destroy her career? Would he tell everyone how she treated him? Would he take revenge? Her own words echoed in her head. People like you don't belong in a place like this. What if she was wrong? What if he did belong, and she didn't? The calm before the storm that evening, Imran finished his shift. He washed his hands, packed his tools, and quietly walked to the exit. He passed Natasha's glass office. He saw her sitting alone, looking at a blank screen. He didn't stop, but she felt his presence. His silence was louder than her words, and for the first time in her life, Natasha didn't feel powerful. She felt watched, judged, small, and deep in her heart. She knew something big was coming. For the first time in years, Natasha was not in control. She couldn't sleep at night. She couldn't focus during the day. Her perfect world felt like it was cracking from the inside. She kept remembering Imran.com face. His quiet voice, his powerful presence. Still walking on the floors? A simple sentence. But it had shaken her. Strange changes in the office 3 days later. Something happened that made everyone in the office whisper. Company CEO sent out a message. An important leadership change will be announced next Monday. Please attend the staff meeting at 10 a.m. sharp. The office buzzed with excitement. Maybe Natasha is finally becoming manager. Or maybe they're hiring someone from outside. Natasha smiled confidently. But inside, her chest felt tight. The warning letter on Friday morning. Natasha opened her email and gasped. A warning letter? Your behavior toward junior staff has been reported as unprofessional. A formal inquiry will begin. Her hands trembled. Who complained? She opened the HR report. It listed several incidents with dates, times, and even video footage. Her shouting at the tea-boy, mocking the receptionist, throwing coffee in the bin, all recorded, all real. But who had sent the complaint? There was no name, just a note at the end. Submitted by an anonymous employee, observed personally over 6 months. 6 months. She froze. That was when Imran joined. Panic and regret, she rushed to HR. This is a mistake, she shouted. I'm the top performer here. Someone is targeting me. The HR officer stayed calm. We're just doing our job. Natasha, the final decision will be made by the board. On Monday, the word felt heavier than ever. She remembered Mr. Hassan's words. See you at the board meeting next week. And then, the worst thought came to her mind. What if Imran is part of the board? A desperate call that evening. Natasha sat in her car, sweating. She called her friend Sana. Remember the janitor? Imran, do you think he's something? More. Sana hesitated. Well, I heard he was seen getting into a Mercedes. The guard says he has a driver. And I also heard he met the CEO personally last week. Natasha's heart dropped. No. More doubt. He wasn't just a janitor. He was watching her this whole time. Flashbacks of her cruelty that night. Natasha sat in her room, alone. She remembered every cruel word she had said, every face she had hurt, every time she laughed at someone's pain. She had thought power made her strong, but now, all that power felt like dust. Her voice cracked as she whispered, I didn't know, but it was too late. The big announcement Monday morning. Monday arrived. Everyone gathered in the main hall. The CEO, the director, the HR head all seated on stage. Natasha sat in the front row, her hands cold, her heart racing. The CEO stepped forward. Good morning. Today, we welcome a new manager. Someone who understands leadership, patience, and respect. Whispers filled the room. The CEO smiled. Please welcome the new branch manager. He turned to the side, and Imran walked up to the stage, wearing a navy blue suit, looking calm, strong, silent. The room went completely quiet. People stared. Natasha's mouth opened slightly, but no sound came out. The janitor was now their boss. Imran's first words. Imran looked at the crowd. Then he spoke. His voice was gentle but powerful. I've worked here for 6 months. You knew me as a janitor. But in these months, I came to learn something very important. He paused. Some people respect only titles, not people. He looked directly at Natasha. But true leadership isn't shown by how you treat your boss. It's shown by how you treat those who can do nothing for you. The crowd listened in silence. Imran smiled slightly. From today, things will change. He stepped back. The applause began slow at first, then louder. Everyone stood, except Natasha. She couldn't move. Her ears were ringing. Her face was pale. Her world had just collapsed. The meeting hall emptied slowly. Some people still looked shocked. Some whispered, some smiled nervously, trying to act like they had always respected Imran. But one person didn't move. Natasha, she sat frozen in her chair, eyes wide, heart heavy. The janitor was now the manager. and she felt powerless for the first time in her life. A walk of respect as Imran walked through the office later that day. Everyone stood when he passed, even the ones who once ignored him, even the ones who never learned his name. The receptionist said, "Good morning, sir." The same one Natasha once shouted at. The tea boy smiled with pride. "Sir, your green tea is ready." Imran nodded and thanked him gently. The office had changed, but Imran had not. He still walked with quiet steps. He still spoke with soft words. Only now, the world listened. The call to Natasha's office at 2 p.m. Natasha got a message from HR. "Please report to the manager's office at 2:15 sharp." Her fingers went cold. This was it. She stood, fixed her hair, and walked slowly through the hallway. Everyone stared. No more admiration, just silence. Some even looked relieved, as if they had waited for this day. Face to face at last, she knocked. "Come in," said a calm voice. She opened the door. Imran sat at the manager's desk, tall-backed chair, wooden table, a nameplate that read Mr. Imran S. Khan, branch manager. He didn't smile. He simply gestured to the seat across from him. She sat. The silence was heavy. I didn't know," she whispered finally. Imran looked at her. "You didn't want to know." She looked down. "I made mistakes." "You did more than that," he said calmly. "You broke people. Made them feel small, including me." Her voice cracked. "I thought you were just a janitor." He nodded slowly. "That was your mistake. Not seeing the human behind the uniform? A second chance." She waited for him to shout. To humiliate her, to fire her, but he didn't. He opened a folder and slid it across the desk. It was a warning. A final one. "You're not being fired yet," he said, "but your behavior has consequences. From today, you start at the lowest rank again under observation. You'll learn humility, or you'll leave." Her eyes widened. "You're giving me a chance." Imran stood. "I'm giving you what you never gave others. Mercy." She stood too, tears forming in her eyes. "I'm sorry." He looked at her one last time. "Don't say sorry to me. Say it to the ones you hurt." A long, quiet walk. Back Natasha walked back to her desk. No one clapped, no one smiled. But for the first time, she didn't walk like a queen. She walked like a person who had fallen, and maybe was ready to change. Imran's thoughts alone in his office. Imran looked at an old photo of his younger self, wearing a business suit, standing with his parents. He whispered, "Sometimes you must fall to rise again." He had fallen once, lost everything, but he had returned not with anger, but with a mission. To change the system from the inside. To teach respect to those who never learned it, and maybe, just maybe, to help people like Natasha become better humans. Days passed. The office felt different now, not because of new rules or meetings, but because everyone had seen what true power looked like, and it didn't wear a fancy suit. It wore a janitor's uniform with dignity. Natasha's new role. Natasha now sat at a small desk, far from her old glass cabin. No more private assistant, no more personal tea. She was now working under Sarah, a junior manager she once called too slow for this job. Now Sarah assigned her the tasks. "Please file these papers," she said kindly. Natasha nodded. She didn't argue. She didn't roll her eyes. She just obeyed. Small embarrassments, big listens. Her new job was simple but painful. She had to sit with employees she once insulted. She had to use the common bathroom. She stood in line at the tea stall. Some coworkers ignored her. Some whispered behind her back, but a few smiled at her softly, as if saying, "Now you understand." And she did. Every word, every stare. She had once given all of it. Now, it was her turn to receive an unexpected meeting one afternoon. She was walking to the storeroom when she bumped into someone. It was Aftab, the tea boy, the same boy she once scolded for forgetting sugar. He dropped a tray hot tea spilled on the floor. Her old self would have shouted, but this time, Natasha bent down, helped him clean, and said softly, "Be careful. It's okay." Aftab looked at her, surprised, then smiled. "Thank you, ma'am." Natasha shook her head. "Not ma'am, just Natasha." Imran was watching from his office window. Imran saw it all. He didn't smile, he didn't clap, but he wrote a small note on a sticky pad. Day 5. A small act of humility. He stuck it on a folder labeled, Natasha Progress Report. Apologies that mattered that week. Natasha quietly walked up to 3 people she had hurt most. Roxana, the receptionist, she mocked for her accent. Shoaib, the intern she made cry. Ali, the peon she once refused to ride the elevator with. One by one, she looked them in the eye and said, "I'm sorry, I was wrong." No excuses, no justifications. Just honesty. Some forgave her, some didn't. But that didn't stop her, because now, she was changing for herself. A surprise message that night. She received a short email from Imran. Progress noted. Keep going. True respect is earned, not demanded. She read it twice, then again. And tears filled her eyes. Not because of shame, but because of hope. The office begins to change. Moran didn't need to shout or fire people. His presence alone changed everything. People started coming to work on time. They greeted the guards kindly. They helped each other during lunch, because now, they knew, anyone could be more than what they seem. Natasha's late-night thought one night. Natasha sat at her small desk and wrote something in her diary. I once thought leadership was power. Now I know it's kindness under control, and dignity in silence. She closed the diary and smiled, a small smile, the first real one in years. It had been for weeks. Natasha was no longer the arrogant woman people feared. Now, she was the quiet one who listened, the one who helped, the one who had changed. But Imran knew. Change is real only when it survives pressure, and that pressure was about to arrive. A new job opening one morning. An email went out to all staff. We are opening a new supervisor role for Team B. Internal applications are welcome. Deadline, Friday. The position came with better pay, respect, and a seat at the decision-making table. Excitement filled the office. People rushed to HR. Some whispered, Natasha will apply for sure. But Natasha didn't move. She kept typing quietly. A difficult decision that evening. Sarah, her current manager, walked up to her. Are you applying? Natasha shook her head. I don't think I'm ready. Sarah looked at her for a moment. You've changed, but don't hide from your growth. Natasha stayed silent. Then she asked, what if people think I'm trying to take shortcuts again? Sarah smiled. Let your actions speak, not your fears. Applications submitted on Friday. Natasha submitted her application. No fancy words? No. Long resume. Just a short note. I'm not who I was, but I'm learning who I want to be. Interviews begin. The interviews were serious. 5 candidates? 3 senior managers on the panel, including IMRAN. When Natasha walked into the room, her palms were sweating. She greeted them respectfully and sat down. No fake confidence, no fake charm. Just quiet strength. IMRAN looked at her and asked, why should we trust you with the team again? Natasha took a deep breath. Because I've finally learned to lead by heart, not ego. Silence. Imran nodded. Thank you. That was all. The results were to be announced. Monday. Natasha didn't sleep much that weekend. She didn't care about the title anymore, but she cared about the chance. The chance to show she was different. Monday announcement day. Everyone gathered. Again in the meeting hall. IMRAN stepped forward with a list in hand. He paused, looked around and said, this time we didn't choose based on history. We chose based on growth. The room was silent. The new supervisor for Team B is. He looked directly at Natasha. Natasha Ahmed. Some clapped, some looked shocked. And Natasha, she just looked down, then up again, and said softly, thank you. What she did next shocked everyone before anyone could say more. Natasha turned to face the room and she spoke. I don't deserve your trust because of a new title, but I hope to earn it one day at a time. If I've hurt you before, my door is open, my ears are open, my heart is open. The room was quiet. Then slowly, someone clapped. Then another. Then the whole room. Imran's silent approval. Imran didn't smile, but he gave her a small nod. A quiet nod, a powerful nod, and Natasha knew. She had passed the final test, not because she got the job, but because she didn't lose herself to pride again. 6 months had passed. The office that once echoed with fear and arrogance now felt warm, respectful, and alive. There was no shouting anymore, no silent tears, only teamwork, support, growth. At the center of that change was a woman. Natasha Ahmed, a new Natasha. She now came early. She helped juniors without being asked. She stayed behind to assist with reports. Others left undone, but most of all she listened to everyone, even the office cleaner, even the new intern, because now, she knew. Every voice matters. Every soul deserves respect. The day Imran called her in one Monday morning, Natasha got a message. Please come to my office. Imran. She walked in, calmly. Imran was looking out the window. He didn't say anything for a moment, then finally, you've changed. The team. She waited. He turned and looked at her. You've changed yourself. Natasha didn't smile with pride. She just said, thank you for not giving up on me. Imran nodded. That's what true leaders do. They don't destroy, they rebuild. A big offer. He slid an envelope across the table. Inside was a letter. Promotion offer. Assistant branch manager. Her eyes widened. But I thought, you earned it, he said. Not with titles, but with actions. She felt her hands shake slightly. I'll accept it only if the team believes I deserve it. Imran smiled his first real smile. They already do. A surprise at the office that Friday. The team surprised her. A cake on her desk. A card with signatures from every employee. One message read, you taught us that even the strongest can change. You made us believe in second chances. She held back tears. She had once ruled through fear. Now she was loved through respect. One last talk with Aftab the tea boy as she left that day. Aftab handed her tea. She took it with both hands and smiled. He said softly, same tea, different you. She laughed, same me, but with a repaired heart. They both smiled. Imran's final thought later that night. Imran sat in his office looking at the folder labeled Natasha Progress Report. He took out all the sticky notes. Each one had a moment of her growth. He placed them neatly in a new folder. Completed redemption journey. He whispered to himself. She fell hard, but she rose stronger. And that is leadership.